Hello and welcome to Cardboard and Plastic. Today we have a reveal, CSG. So I'm going to split this into two parts. I think it was like 78 cards. Before I begin though, I have some cards in the back. And these cards, I want to talk a little bit about grading. So PSA I stopped using, and really the reason I stopped using is the turnaround times and the price. These cards I got graded for $10.80 a piece. And I like to grade, but some of the values that grading makes a card like worth 5, 6, 10 times the price of a raw card is way too much in my opinion, especially PSA. I'll show you three of the cards. So this card I bought in a lot, and the lot was $100, and it had tons of Kirby Puckett. This is when I first started collecting. This is one of my dream cards when I was younger. So really this card cost me about probably $50. And then I graded it, and now this card sells for about $1,200. The prices, I mean, PSA 9 is $300. So would I rather own 4 PSA 9s of this card or just one PSA 10? And what's really the difference? And I'll even show you with one of the cards. I thought that the PSA 9 that got graded PSA 9 was nicer than the PSA 10. Here's a ridiculous card. I paid $50 for this. And it's beautiful. However, PSA 10 doesn't have to be perfect. This is actually very common, even with some PSA 10s. Do you see that little print dot there, the fisheye? So the card's not perfect. However, this card, I think the last one just sold for $2,700. I bought it for $50. A PSA 9 will sell for $180. I have no idea why I'm still holding on to this. I think if I go to a local card show, I'm going to try to trade that one. And I bought tons of raw cards to grade. And when I grade them, if you take a look at the numbers, this was 40. This card was 41. And I always put the cards that I think grade nicer in the back. So I actually thought that this was a nicer card. This card cost me $12 to grade. I bought it for $40, $40 to $50. All these, I graded 10 of these. I bought 10 of them. One got a PSA 8, 8 got a PSA 9, and 1 got a PSA 10. This card goes for about, I think the last one was $11.75, so about $1,200. Bought it for $50. Now, the crazy thing about this, it cost me $12 to grade. However, PSA, what they do is sometimes they will charge you more when the card grades higher. So I got a $70 upcharge because at the time this card was selling for like $3,000, $4,000. Really should have got rid of it. But I'm not in this. I will trade these cards, but I really don't sell at all anymore. So I started using CSG, and it's not really that I like the slab a lot better. They have good turnaround times. The price was right. And I had to wait for some of these cards, like the Shack, I waited 15 months. So I'm going to show you some of these cards. All these cards are really ComC, eBay, and some cards I just had lying around for a while. I had a couple of issues with these, but a lot of these I think were graded correctly. This is going to replace my SGC 9. This got a 9.5. These cards are really hard with the black edges to get a grade like this. Here's a 1984 Topps Kirby Puckett. I have a PSA 9 in this. I think this one's it's actually nicer with the colors, and the centering's great. So I may get rid of my PSA 9 and keep this, whatever card I think is nicer. Plus the PSA 9 has more value, so I can get more for it and get other cards. I already graded one of these. I got a CSG 9. So 1985, Roger Clemens. This one got a 9, so I bought all these raw for like $2 to $3 off ComC. So I got 2 9s, and I graded a second one. And this one got a 8.5. And the centering is really nice. I mean, take a look and you'll probably see PSA 9s that are not as centered. as well as that one is. One of my, oh, this goes with the Kirby Puckett here. So this is a Flair update, Dwight Gooden rookie. Big card back in the day. And this one graded a little bit higher. I thought it was going to be about an 8, and it got a 9. I mean, the card is perfect with the corners and the surface. It is off-centered. I'm going to measure this to see if it's within the parameters of a CSG 9. And this is a couple of issues that I saw. A couple of the cards scored like 0.5 or even up to 1 higher than what I expected, according to their grading standards, the rubric they use. This one I thought was better than that Dwight Gooden. This is the regular Fleer, the Strawberry rookie. And this got a 9. And you can kind of see the pattern that when I go to ComC, if I see perfectly centered and well-conditioned cards, I buy them. And actually, this is a little trick here for people. The front of the card doesn't tell the whole story. Look at the back of the card and actually look at the back corners. That really tells me if a card is in great condition. If there's no whiting on the back corners of these early tops, you actually have a really nice card. Now, of course, from a picture, there could be creasing that you don't see or some other issues. But typically, when I do this, I buy these cards and they all grade high. And you can see that this got a 9. So first of all, I look at centering. If the centering looks good, I look at the corners. Then I go to the back of the card. And if the back of the card looks really nice and the price is right, these are the type of cards I buy. Now, here's my second one. If you watch the other reveal, I have another Daryl Strawberry, and it got a 9.5. And there was only 2 of them that got 9.5s. It's the top pop at CSG, over hundreds graded. And this one got another 9.5. So I have 2 out of the 3 top pops for this Topps Traded Daryl Strawberry. A beautiful card. I mean, the centering is perfect. I think I got this one off of eBay with the Dwight Gooden, Flair update for $50 for both cards together. They all look beautiful. And that's the type of thing. If a seller has one nice card, always look at their other cards. This is a Wade Boggs rookie, Donruss. This was beautiful again. And these are hardified centered perfectly. That's a 9.5. Great grade there. And a lot of these grades I don't object to. But the ones like the Dwight Gooden I did, and I'll tell you about a couple of other ones I do have an issue with. This Ricky Henderson, again, beautiful. You can see no whiting on the back. 1982, got a 9. This is another hard card to get centered, is a 1982 Fleer. Bought this one raw for about, I think it was like $8 or $10 on ComC. Beautiful 8.5. So again, hard to find these centered. For my Hall of Fame collection, this is a 1982 Donruss Lee Smith. So I think I got the tops as well. This one got a 9.5. Again, perfect centering. So great card. Another 1982. Again, you look at the back corners. It looks really good. Got a 9. I shouldn't have told you that secret. A lot of people are probably going to go on ComC and buy cards like that now. I mean, these are not easy grades to get. Getting 8s and 9s and 9.5s from these 1980s. Here's a future star. I got a 9 the last time. And a second 9. So again, great centering. I'm going to trade the other one and keep the one. I think this one had a little bit better centering. But again, try to find these with the centering and sharp edges like that. 1981 Topps, Ricky Henderson. I have the rookie in a PSA 8. I actually bought like seven of them for like 40, 50 bucks, graded all of them, and I got all seven, 7.5. I finally got the PSA 8, so that's the one I kept. I traded all the other ones. This was the best card I had grown up. This is not the card I had grown up. The one I had grown up was in really bad shape. Bought this one off of ComC, less than $2, and it got a 9.5. And the centering for this, I mean, look to try to find a 1981 Rickey Henderson with the borders. I mean, slightly tilted, like ever so slightly, but these ones are impossible to find centered. All right, diving back a little bit more, I believe this is the Jack Morris rookie. I got a CSG 8 last time in the other reveal. This one got a little bit better. So my PSA 8 and my CSG 8, both are going to go away. This is the one I'm going to keep. This one is a 1975 Jim Rice rookie. Bought this raw off ComC. Got a beautiful 7. So collector's grade right there. Nice centering for this. Now here's one card I disagree with. Now the other thing about CSG is when they have these slabs, they really make these cards to fit exactly. If you have a card that's slightly oversized, they will have to put it into a thicker holder. So that's why a few of the cards I have are in thicker holders. They measured a little bit bigger, and so they don't fit. So that's a lot of people have problems when they actually get cards with sleeves and not these holders because they make them exactly to fit a card. Now this George Brett had 2 issues. And this is the big one. I didn't think it should have been graded. Personally, if you take a look, and I'll hit this down, do you see the space there? When I measured it, it measured short. Now, doesn't mean it's trimmed. I actually checked. It didn't look trimmed to me. A lot of these cards are cut short, cut rough. Even some of them have flares. However, this card, if PSA got it, they wouldn't have graded it. They would have sent it back to me as a min size, I believe N6. So I was not expecting this card to get graded. Not only did it get graded, it had a corner that had a little bit of a problem with it. And according to their grading standards, the highest it should have got was a 6.5. Not only did they grade it, being a little bit short in my opinion, it got a 7.5 with, I mean, it's really beautiful, centered, but that dinged corner right there, that should have brought it down automatically to a 6.5 at the highest. And with PSA, the way they're grading, I mean, the surface is beautiful with this card. There's no scratches. And this is what I kind of found with CSG. They grade more with surface than anything else. So I think they're doing a lot of computer grading, that they use the computer to grade the surface, the centering, and that's the majority of the grades. So I'm going to keep this for my PC. I'm going to get rid of my HGA George Brett. I mean, it's a beautiful card. It's a George Brett rookie, but I wouldn't feel confident selling that to somebody or trading that to somebody. So that's just going to sit on my PC. And if I ever do, I'll be very upfront and honest to the people that I trade with. This is a Dave Parker, and this was a ComC purchase for like, I think 17 bucks. Paid quite a bit for this, but it looked gorgeous. And these ones are impossible to find centered. In my opinion, he's going to get into the Hall of Fame, Veterans Committee someday. He deserves it. Got a beautiful 8 with this. And this card is going to sit there, and it's going to go, I'm going to put it in my Hall of Fame PC because he's going to get there. The same thing, I believe, with Dwight Evans there as well. This card, I got a PSA 7 Ted Simmons from a seller, and this one they had by 11. The card was gorgeous. It's really hard to find with these black edges in this nice of condition. It's off-centered, though. So it got a 6. It deserves a 6 because of the centering, but, I mean, it is very black. Like, if you take a look there, I mean, try to find one that has corners like that. But yeah, the centering, you can definitely tell, is off. But that's a beautiful 6. I have a PSA 6. I'm going to keep the PSA 6 because it has much better centering. And this Hank Aaron, and you know this one's in a plastic sleeve, and I think the reason is it wouldn't fit, right? Because all these cards, they fit perfectly into here. And so I think that's something to look for. If you find a card that doesn't fit perfectly in a CSG slab, I would kind of just leave it alone. So here's a Hank Aaron rookie. Sorry. Talking about the Burt by 11. That's a Burt by 11 rookie. This is not a Hank Aaron. This is a 1969 Hank Aaron. Nicely centered. Has some corner issues, and it got a 5.5. Now we're getting into some of my 1960s, the vintage. Here's an Al Kaline. 19, I believe. This is 65. Yep, 1965. Great grade. If you can get a grade above the year, that's great for these. And these cards I had were a lot of these were in amazing shape. So Al Kaline, Jim Bunning. This is a 1965 as well. That got a beautiful 8.5. I mean, this card was centered. Beautiful card. I knew that one was going to grade high. We'll put them up there. Juan Marichal, 1964. Got a 7.5. So great grade for that one. Jim Bunning, 1964. Got an 8. I mean, this is a beautiful card as well. I mean, he's not a top Hall of Famer. He's one of those veteran committee Hall of Famers, but I'm trying to do runs of the 50s and 60s of all the Hall of Famers. Here's a Frank Robinson. This one I thought was going to grade about a 6, and it got a 3.5. So something, I don't know what's wrong with this. I understood the lower grade of the other Frank Robinson I had. I am going to check this out with a loop through the case. This one I may break out. This is like the only card that graded lower than I thought. Well, maybe a couple. This one graded higher than I thought. This is a 1963 Roberto Clemente. It was off-center, top-bottom. It's a decent card, but there is some issues. Got a 4.5. Whitey Ford. And a lot of these cards, I knew that they were going to get 3s and 4s. So this is a Whitey Ford 1963. But you could tell from the cards with the ones I choose, I like centered cards. That's what bothers me a little bit about this one. It's not centered, but it's a Roberto Clemente. I can't complain about it. So that got a 4. Frank Robinson. This one got a 4. And it has a crease at the top. It's probably hard to see. I think I got it right there. So this one I understand the grade. I was even thinking a 3 for this because of that crease. Should have got a 3. But the other one that got a 3.5, I don't know why. Jim Bunning. So I got 8.5 and 8. And what do you think the grade for this one is? This is a 1963. 7.5. This is kind of the problem, though, I had with this thing. I thought this was about a 6. If you take a look, there's some corner wear, right? So these cards had great surfaces, pretty good centering, but some of these just graded a little high. Warren Spahn, 1963. And again, it graded a 7, but I mean, these corners are not 7s, in my opinion. I mean, this is more like a 6 or 5.5. So it looks like some of the vintage they're being a little bit lenient on for my order. Doesn't really matter. I mean, these are just going to stay in my PC. This one got 2.5 expected lower. The rubric says that you can have creases on a card for a 2.5, but they can't go edge to edge. Now, if you take a look at this one, it's really hard to see, but there's a crease that goes edge to edge where my fingers are. So again, I was thinking a 2 according to their standards. Same usual, 1963, got a 4. I expected that. Then we're going to dive a little bit further back, 1962. This one had a bad surface on it. I was expecting maybe even a 2.5. Got a 3.5. Nicely centered, though. That's why I sent it in. Roger Maris, I was expecting a 4 on this one. And again, everything's a little bit higher. The centering's not great. Some corner issues. 5.5. Harmon Killebrew, this card's nice. Almost miscut at the back, but pretty nice centering on the front. Great corners. Got a 6. I don't know why I sent this one in. This is like the Ted Williams Fleer 1959 set. I mean, it looked pretty nice. I just had it lying around, and for $10.80, I sent it in. I'm probably just going to send this to ComC and try to sell it and buy some more raw cards. But this is the one with Jim Thorpe and Ted Williams from that set. I really have no interest in those cards. I don't even like the League Leaders cards. I like the solo cards. The Roger Maris, that one I really like. And I actually had the Willie Mays, the Catch, the Topps one. And I sold that and I upset at myself. I got to get that one again. This is Ernie Banks. This is a 1958. I knew it was going to grade low, 2.5. That's what it deserved. This card, I mean, it's Ernie Banks, early Ernie Banks. These cards are undervalued in my opinion. And slabbing it was great. It's a Ted Williams card from his play days. This one is a horrible shape. I thought it was going to get a 1, 1.5. It got a 2, again, a little bit higher. The surface is horrible. It's a Ted Williams. And Ted Williams does not have many cards. I think this is his last one, 1958. Not too sure. I think it is. And he actually did have in 69, 70, 71, and 72, he had his manager cards. And those things, if you can't afford, I mean, this is like the cheapest Ted Williams card you can get from his playing days. But the manager cards, if you can't afford that, I think those would be a really good buy for people trying to buy Ted Williams on a limited budget. Who was this? Richie Ashburn, 1957 Hall of Famer. Not a top tier Hall of Famer, but this one, I knew it was in great shape. I bought it off ComC. It was beautiful. I mean, finding these centered is virtually impossible, but decent centering, and it got a 7. The surface is great. The corners are great. Edges are great. We're going to leave that one to the end. This 1952 Bowman Duke Snider is in bad shape. For $10.80, I said, let's just send it in. I mean, there's no crease on it, but horrible surface wear on it. Got a 2.5. It deserves a 2.5, maybe a little bit lower. But this is a great card. Just to have in a PC and a slab. I really like it. Not a Hall of Famer. Don Newcomb, Cy Young Award winner. 1950 Bowman, his rookie. And for Dodgers fans, this is actually a big card for people to get. I mean, it goes for decent money. So I knew this had bad surface. Now, this is one thing with CSG. They grade very hard on surface, in my opinion. And the corners, they're a little bit less strict on than like PSA for like technical. So this got a 2, which it deserved. I mean, the surface is not in great condition, but it's nicely centered and looks beautiful in that CSG. I don't like the plastic, but it is protected. If I ever do want to submit this to like SGC, if they come down in price, snip, take it out, and the plastic will protect the surface of the card, so less damage. Now, this is one card I wish I just sent to SGC. This is an absolutely gorgeous, no marks on the back, 1952 Bowman Stan Musial, Stan the Man. And this card I thought was going to get a 5, with possibly a little bit higher. And it actually got exactly a 5. But, I mean, this card, I mean, some rough cut edges. The corners are not perfect. That's probably the worst corner. But look how white that card is. Look at the color, the registration. I am not letting this card go from my PC. I might get it out and send it to SGC so it has a slab that fits it perfectly. But this card is absolutely gorgeous, and guess what? I bought it raw off of eBay for like $50. So I felt bad when I bought it for that cheap, and the person had some, and I got it in the mail, and it was gorgeous. I was expecting it to have like a crease. The pictures weren't good. And I know it's real because of how it smells. And this is something important as well. I'm going to put that one right there. People always ask me, like, how do you tell real cards and fake cards? Get some garbage Bowman. And this is the other thing too, is are you worried about a trim? Get a garbage Bowman, hold it up to it. You can figure out the size of it, what sizes they're supposed to be, how they're cut. You can look underneath a loop, see how they actually printed these cards. Look at the card stock. Look underneath the card stock underneath the loop, right? So, and the other thing is, like, look at the card thickness, feel it. And one of the most important things is smell the card. I know it sounds weird, but if you didn't tell me anything about a card, you just gave me a card and allowed me to smell it, I could tell you if the card was from the 1950s or older by the smell of the cardboard. So, like, here's some 1950 ones. I just have these on hand, and when I first started collecting, I was always scared of, like, okay, what if I buy a fake one, right? And they really don't exist, but I always bought these cards, and I just said, okay, I'm going to have these on hand, and I get to compare them. And I mean, they're not worth anything, but they are worth a lot for your card education. So I'm going to, later on, I'll post my second video of the next, I believe I have about 40 more cards. So I hope everybody has a great day, and keep on collecting.